you may be smothering the power of your light. And by doing so, you could potentially allow the forces of darkness and destruction into your life. Our deepest fear is not that we are inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is our light, not our darkness, that frightens us most. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, to be beautiful, to be talented? Actually, who are you not to be? You are a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking yourself so that other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence, by default, liberates others. A quote from Marianne Williamson, A Return to Love, reflections on the principles of A Course in Miracles. You see, the mind, the most powerful tool we have as human beings, it was designed as a cutting tool, like a sword or like a laser. It was designed to constrict. It was designed to resist. And though it is a great and powerful tool, it is also the source of all suffering in our life. We think that suffering comes from the external world, from negative circumstances, from poverty and hunger, violence, but it is not the case. All violence arises with the mind. All fear, all hatred, all shame, guilt, without the mind, these things do not exist. You see, because our mind gives us the sense of separation from one another. And what that means is that if I am separate, then I am vulnerable. If I am separate, then I must preserve myself. I must look after my own self-interests. And so the root of the mind is selfishness. It's a sense of self, a sense of separation. And so what the mind does, it acts as a cutting tool that cuts us off from the source, that eternal light within us that is consciousness. And so we experience separation from God. And this separation creates hell. That is why all spiritual seekers and spiritual masters have arrived at the same conclusion, that if you wish to have the bliss of enlightenment, if you want to reach the kingdom of heaven, if you want moksha and nirvana, liberation from suffering, freedom, it can only be done by letting go of our attachment to the mind, that which cuts us off from the source. Because you see, the nature of consciousness, that is energy, that is the life force within us, its very nature is bliss, its very nature is harmony, its very nature is love and peace. And so the only reason we do not experience these things is because in one form or another we have become separated from our true state of being. But to the degree in which we suffer in this life with depression, with hatred, with all the negative emotions that exist. All of it, all of the suffering that we experience, is directly relative to how aligned or misaligned we are with our true state of being as consciousness. One experience that illustrates this quite nicely, I believe, is that during deep sleep, our consciousness retracts and we go unconscious. But consciousness does not disappear, it just goes into our body. And because consciousness is the force of harmony, it's the force of life, that is when our body does all of its healing and repair. And so I had an experience once in which I was able to temporarily be aware at the stage between deep sleep and awakening, a very subtle state. And what I experienced was I lost all sensation of my body. I could perceive a kind of ball where my head would be at the center, and then the sensation of having a body was replaced by an extremely powerful sense of pure bliss. The most beautiful feeling, and it makes you wonder, what is this experience doing hiding right under our pillows? Oftentimes we spend our whole lives in the waking state, searching for scraps of peace and happiness. And so what you're saying is that the most powerful human emotion is something I experience every night, but I am not there to experience it. It is not that you are not there to experience it, it's that there is no mind. And so the state of no mind and bliss, heaven, liberation, they are synonymous. Sadhguru said, every night we get free enlightenment. Another piece of evidence for this is that every morning when we wake up, there is often this nice, comfortable feeling that we experience. That feeling that makes us not want to get up out of bed in the morning. A feeling of deep presence, peace. Perhaps it even feels like home. And to me, this could be nothing other than the afterglow effect that consciousness leaves after flooding our entire system. So too, the same thing happens after taking psychedelics. Consciousness floods the mind, floods the body, and the next day you feel the afterglow effect. And so too, we understand that the reason psychedelics flood our system with consciousness, the reason that we are flooded with consciousness in deep sleep, they are one and the same. And so too, in the moment of death, we will be flooded with consciousness. Because death is the trigger for the release of consciousness. So when the mind dies, it tells our system it is time to release consciousness. Another experience that I've heard other people talk about, but I have not experienced myself, is when you stay in a dark room for multiple days without seeing light. At some point, something is triggered in our system and it releases perhaps that same DMT, where you begin having images flash through your mind. Why is that? It is because when you are exposed to the darkness for long periods of time, your system, your body will believe that you are dead. And so if you want to experience liberation, freedom, the kingdom of heaven, it all comes down to the same root that we must take out. That is the root of identity. to let go of our attachment of who we are or who we believe ourselves to be, and rest as presence, as consciousness, as awareness. And the more we can remain in a state of no mind, our body, our system will believe us to be dead and will flood our system with consciousness. Because psychologically, we will be dead. Not in a state of vegetableness, but in a state of freedom. To die before you die. To be free from the suffering of this world and all of its craziness.